Thank you. Thank you very much, comrades. Comrades, if you want to see a physical demonstration of the resilience of the People's Progressive Party, there is a comrade here. I just told the General Secretary a few weeks ago, she called me and she said, "Comrade, I'm on my way home." I said, "Which home?" She said, "The great beyond." And today, I sat up here and I tell the General Secretary, "Look, Sherry is here. Sherry, stand up and show them how you're strong." Back on track and strong again. Earlier, as I walked through this huge gathering of the family of the People's Progressive Party, a few persons touched me and they said, "We are back home." And a few touched me and said, "I am here now." To both groups, we say, welcome home, this is where you belong. And to those who have embraced us now for the first time, we say to them, welcome to the strongest family, the People's Progressive Party family. My friends, all of you here are testimony to one fact. You are not fair weather family members of the People's Progressive Party. You are there in the hard times, the good times, the challenging times, and you will always be there for the People's Progressive Party. There are some who love to call on the name of Dr. Jagan, and they do so selfishly because they believe by calling upon his name, it gives them a special entrance into the hearts of the fair and free-minded people of our country. But the true legends of the PPP are those who are on the ground working every day to ensure that this party remains strong, to ensure that the philosophy of this party remains strong. When we come here, we are not celebrating the stage. We are celebrating your labor of love and hard work that keep the memory of Dr. Jagan, the legendary work of Dr. Jagan alive. Today, our party is stronger than ever before. I won't say that our party is in its strongest position, but I would say, without fear of contradiction, that our party is stronger today than any other time in the history of our country. And I know that Dr. Jagan will be proud to know that his party today is stronger than the day it was founded. And this is because of all of you and your work. But the strength of our party lies in its leadership. Today, whilst I honor some of our leaders, many of our leaders here from the party and in the cabinet, our former President and General Secretary, Comrade Donald, Barry, Comrade Nocta, Leslie, all the comrades, Jenny. Today, all of us must be conscious and aware that we have a General Secretary today that has taken our party to higher heights. His leadership, his commitment, his strength of character, and his unshakable stand in protecting the integrity of the party must never be taken for granted. Today, one of the great blessings of this party is in the choices you have made in our prime ministers. The legendary Comrade Samuel Hines. Put your hands together for him because I know he's listening. Passing the baton when we contested with a legendary woman who has given all her life to this country, Elizabeth Harper, as our Prime Ministerial candidate. And now, retired Brigadier Mark Phillips. You listen to him and you understand why he was drawn to the PPP. Because fundamentally, his philosophy and his thinking is about the people, for the people, with the people. That is what underpins his philosophy. Today, as I look across this beautiful gathering of Guyanese, you cannot help but notice that all of Guyana is represented in all of us here today. These images will send chills down their spine. But these young people reminded us, every time the PPP is in government, or whether we're in opposition, there is a coalition of forces that try to misguide our people. Sometimes those forces are nourished from within and they grow and go on the outside. I saw a very funny social media post from one of them. Imagine who betrayed Dr. Jagan. Put up a social media post. This one is for you, Pa. I don't want to mention this guy's name. He's completely absent from society today. And then, as the young people told us, there will be those who will try to divide us by race. And when they fail, they will try to divide us by religion. And when they fail, they will try to divide us by bringing together their collective ambition. And the young people reminded us that they will come and try to appeal to our emotions. But be wary, for even recently, we learned the lesson of these people. We must be conscious about our political environment. We must be conscious about our future. We must be conscious of the values that we represent. If one believes that they can make a contribution to the PPP, and by making such a contribution, the PPP must defend every wrongdoing or any wrongdoing, they are mistaken. That is not the philosophy of the People's Progressive Party. That is why fundamentally, when you become a member of this movement, you are volunteering your labor of love to country and to party. This party cannot be bought or sold or traded. That is not the philosophy of this party. he can never be bought or sold or traded. We are connected to the people of this country. This party is owned by the people of this country. This party is owned by the men and women and children of this country who embrace a philosophy of freedom, democracy, unity. Those are the owners of this party. So comrades, let us raise our voices, wave our flags, and applaud in tribute to Comrade Cheddi Jagan. Let me hear you give a resounding round of applause. Dr. Jagan remains our source of inspiration. His greatest gift to us was not just his vision or his sacrifices, but the greatest gift was this mighty party that belongs to all of us. The People's Progressive Party. The party he entrusted to us. The party that has never wavered in its commitment to the people of our country. Cheddi's legacy is vast. His contributions, too many to count. But today, let me remind you of two profound lessons he left. First, he taught us the meaning of development, not empty words or false promises, but tangible progress. For Cheddi, development was about people. It was about ensuring that every child had a future, that every farmer had land to till, and every worker had dignity in labor. And that, comrades, is exactly what we are doing today. You know, I was saying to some young people when we campaigned, and we said we wanted people to retire in dignity. I explained to them what we meant. And let me give you a simple example of what we meant. Today, a head teacher from a nursery school, retiring with a salary, let us say, of $350,000 to $400,000, depending on what grade of school, would retire with a pension close to $200,000. Then we will get NIS at a maximum scale, which is about $160,000. And when they achieve old age, they will get $41,000. That pensioner will be receiving more money at pension than when they were at employment. And that is because of the progressive increases in salaries that the People's Progressive Party would have given to workers. And every category of workers. And that is what we mean when we say we retire in dignity. And I recently said, for our men and women in uniform, we are working. We have also addressed their salary scale. Our nurses, our doctors, all of them will not only benefit now in the immediate time, but will also be in a better position upon retirement, and thereby fulfilling our commitment of ensuring people retire in dignity. Comrades, today, I don't want to be too long. Thank you, Sherry. but I'll take some time. You know, I want to speak a bit about national development, but because we're in Region 6, I want to give some specific examples of Region 6. And when we go to every single region, as we do, I will tell the same story of every region in your region. Now, comrades, if you save in more money, or you have more money to put in your bank account, you're not better off? Are you better off? Good. Well, let me tell you the story of Region 6 alone. According to the Bank of Guyana, deposits in the commercial bank of Region 6 between 2019 and today, as I speak to you, grew by 72%, from 61.8 billion to 106.2. What that tells you? It tells you today that people have more disposable income, that people are better off, that the economy is better, that productivity has increased, and life is better here in Guyana, and Region 6 is no exception. My friends, since returning to office, we have rehired here in Region 6 1,055 workers across the country. We now employ 4,556 persons, guys, 45% more than 2019. From 2022 to 2025, under the Pathway Program in this region alone, we have employed 4,000 new persons, most of whom are women, who never participated in the workforce. As a result of employing those 4,000 women, today, those 4,000 persons, today, an additional $5.8 billion was made available to those families and here in Region 6. These are the developments, these are the things that would enhance household prosperity, community prosperity. These are the things that are uplifting our people out of poverty. In agriculture, across the country, we have spent more than $220 billion. And I don't need to remind you about what the APNU AFC did to agriculture, what they did to sugar, what they did to rice, what they did to public servants. You can be easily reminded. But comrades, since returning to office, more than $219 billion we've invested in agriculture. Here in Region 6 alone, we've invested almost $20 billion every year to secure the livelihood of our farmers, investing in drainage and irrigation, investing in opening up new lands so we can expand production. The investment in agriculture in this region is almost 5 times what the APNU AFP invested in their 5 years of government. Isn't this commitment? We stand to lose all of this if we lose our political consciousness, if we lose our conscience, if we become trapped by the naysayers and the doom players, as fancy as they may come. Understand, whilst the PDP civic makes these results look easy, it's not easy. It comes from sleepless night, hard work every single day whilst we're in office. My friends, and because of the government investment in agriculture, confidence in financing agriculture project grew. And as a result, investment, credit to agriculture in this region grew 3 times, from less than $12 billion in 2019 to almost $40 billion. That is credit from the private sector, credit from the banks. My friends, I'm not going to remind you about the almost 1,500 farmers who benefited from more than 70,000 bags of fertilizer, or the hundreds of farmers who benefited from the seed paddy, or the almost 2,000 fisher folk who benefited from capital investment, or the 700 plus farmers who benefited from the flood relief in this region. I'm not going to tell you about them because we have thousands of examples of policies that have directly benefited families. We are not seasonal in our approach to development. We are your constant. We are your everyday. We are your reliable partner. And we are your relentless fighter, the People's Progressive Party Civic. When the sugar estates were closed, who was on the front line? Which party was on the front line, side by side, with Garu, marching? Don't forget that. Who was on the front line with the rice farmers when they tried to take away Red House in Georgetown that holds the memory and work of Dr. Jagan? Who was in the front line, led by our General Secretary? These things are easily to forget. But always remember, in the most difficult of times in this country, regardless of how harsh the environment was, it is the People's Progressive Party Civic that remain on the front line. And that is where we will remain, your constant partner. When we look at rice, the RPA reminded you about the promise of 9,000 per bag. And instead what you got? Increased land rent, increased lease fee by thousands of %, VAT added on your chemical and fertilizer inputs. Cost of production went up by almost 63%. And some of those who parade about the place saying they're representing rice farmers, ask yourself, where were these people? They were happy because in their businesses, they were finding crafty ways of profiteering. Where were them? Today, we are back in office, and what did you see? Rice production is at its highest ever in the history of our country. Between $4,000 and $4,800 per bag. This crop, the international market collapsed. The prices. We didn't hide. What did we do? We stood by the farmers and we placed a subsidy that would ensure they get at least $4,000 per bag. This is billions of dollars of additional support. Additional support that does not only benefit the rice farmers and keep the rice industry alive, but it benefits the vendors in the market. It benefits the children of the rice farmers that go to school. Because we know when we were in opposition between 2015 and 2019, 2020, we went to many communities here and across the country, whether it's in bauxite, rice, or sugar. And what did we hear? We're taking our children out of school because we can't afford to keep them in school. We don't have money to buy sneakers for our children. No textbooks in the school. No exercise books in the school. No book bag. That is not long ago. That is just 5 years ago. The BBC did a program on this. Today, lest you forget, it is this government that came back and right those wrongs. Life and development is not about the seasonal gift. It's not about the seasonal gift. It's about hard, tireless work. Hard, tireless work. It is not opportunistic. It is never opportunistic. It is about full commitment. It's about sacrifice. The stories of our leaders are never told. We have leaders of international caliber. But instead of going after personal gains, they stay here even after their time of service, committed to our party and committed to our people. That is the leadership that matters. My friends, if you look at the fisheries sector output increased across the country by more than 260%. But in this region, when the General Secretary came in 2020 and he met with the fisher folk, he came back and said there's an opportunity for an innovative project. And that innovative project was to convert the swamp land, to invest in the equipment, to convert those swamp land to produce brackish water shrimp. When we announced it, the civics in society were ready to criticize. But today, that project that we invested hundreds of millions of dollars in would have increased production of shrimp in this region by 700%. Putting more money in the pockets of our fisher folk and their families. That is why they can save more. Go across the region. You will see everybody improving their homes, improving their yard, building a fence, extending their home, building new homes. Why? Why? Because the environment is conducive for them to do so. Because development is giving them the opportunity to do so. I'm not going to remind you about the 500 acres of pasture land that we developed for our livestock farmers. I'm not going to remind you about the hundreds of kilometers of farm-to-market access road that we've already completed, opening up thousands of acres of land. I'm not going to remind you about that. Even in Oriala and Sipuruta, you've invested in developing hundreds of acres of land for food production and agriculture. In the health sector, we've invested more than $53.9 billion in Region 6 alone. The new Amsterdam state-of-the-art hospital, our investment in healthcare is almost 9 times more than that of the APNUFC government in their 5 years. The regional hospitals, let us look at one example right in Port Moran. The National Ophthalmology Hospital. This hospital that came into existence long before I, by our General Secretary when he was President, providing service for patients in Guyana, Suriname, and the rest of the Caribbean. When we came into government, when we left government, the APNU-AFC government shut that hospital down. Denying people for 5 years of important surgeries, cataract surgeries. And those who required any treatment had to find $400,000 for that treatment. We forgot this. They reached free, the fungi, and the price, it cost of $400,000 for everyone who wanted that treatment. What did we do? We came back in office. Immediately, we reopened that center, invested in it, and we cleared the more than 3,000 backlog of cases from around the country. And as I speak to you today, that hospital would have completed almost 8,500 surgeries since we reopened it. Those persons will have had to find $3.2 billion to pay for this surgery that they receive free of cost under the PDP Civic if the AFC was in government. Yes, they would have lost their sight. If they couldn't find the money, imagine that. These are the things that we don't see because it's not a road, it is not a school, it is not a building. But this is a policy that saved poor families $3.2 billion. My friends, look at the New Amsterdam Hospital. Yes, we have challenges there, and we have to fix them. That is why we are building a new hospital We're training more nurses and doctors. We are not the party that hide from challenges. We confront challenges in the interest of the people. That is what we do. But with all challenges in that hospital, we are able to do more than 6,500 surgeries, 6,500 surgeries. That is more than 30% of surgeries it was capable of doing in 2019. And I'm just giving you a few examples. I'm not going to the health centers where no medication was available. I'm not even telling you about a dialysis program where everyone with dialysis gets a check. I'm just giving you a few examples. In education, $13.5 billion we invested in this region alone to give you world-class education. In the last 4+ years alone, you have received, your children have received a direct transfer of almost $5.5 billion under the Because We Care grant. This is a grant we had before oil. They came, got oil, and took away the grant. We brought back that grant and now made it beyond our manifesto promise, $50,000 per child. When we came in opposition, we heard parents complain about having to buy chalk to send to the school. And we said this must stop. And we launched a national school grant, where a grant is given to every single school to ensure that they have the money to buy these learning aid and supplies. In this region alone, almost $800 million in national school grant was placed in every single school. Billions of dollars on the maintenance of school. Textbooks. Between 2015 and 2019, less than 20% textbook availability was in the education system. Today, we have almost 90% textbook availability in the school system. These are things you don't see in a structure, but you see it in the results of our children. It is the future that is being built stronger. My friends, I'm not going to tell you about the support to the school meals program. I'm not going to tell you about the almost 3,000 gold scholarship. I'm not going to tell you about the more than 6,500 public servants in this region alone who benefit from training. I'm not going to tell you about the more than 2,500 young people who benefit from the TVET training. I'm not going to remind you about all of that. I'm not going to tell you about the thousands of kilometers of roads, community roads we have done, the billions we have spent. I'm not going to remind you about a Hope Canal that is under construction. I am not going to remind you about the more than 200 kilometers of drainage and irrigation that we did. But I want to tell you something. I will give you a simple stats. In 2019, and I want you to listen carefully, because this is one of their big propaganda. In 2019, all the projects that was done in this region was executed by 33 contractors. Listen to this. Under the APNUASC, all the projects that was done in this region was executed by 43 contractors. Today, we have engaged in this region alone more than 1,132 contractors. From 43 to 1,132. You don't hear about this? This is the reality. Almost 25 times more. I'm not going to remind you about housing or water. In one investment alone, the new water treatment at our venture, more than 18,000 residents will get treated water. This is results that we are proud of. We can come up here and speak all day and night about our results and defend our policy. Not one single day can the AP and your AFC defend their policy or defend their time in government. I'm not going to remind you about the old age pension, which increased by more than 100% since we came into government, to the extent now that everybody from overseas wants to ensure that they get in this pension. Because it is valuable now. It's 200 US every month, you know. 2,400 a year. US dollars. Back in the days, is wait for your family send a $200, $100, $50. Now they want to come collect the 200. My friends, I am not going to remind you about all of the development, but we are always true, and the time is going to come when we will speak about our plans, and when we will give account for all the promises and commitments we made in the manifesto, and we will stand proudly because we have exceeded every single commitment in the manifesto. We are not about power, we are about responsibility. That is what we want government for, because we take our responsibility seriously. And my friends, let me just give you a taste of what you will put at risk if you are not politically conscious. And this is just a taste. A brief overview of the plans in train and ahead for Region 6. I'm leaving Region 5, crossing the Barbies River on a new 4-lane high bridge, just like the Damara Bridge. I'm entering New Amsterdam, not only a synthetic track, but a new hospital, a new medical school. And then driving off on a new 4-lane road all the way to Morrison Creek, the upgraded road into Kanji, and going to fly to Timori from the new municipal airport of Rose Hall, and passing Palmyra to the hotels, malls, new private hospitals, to the new stadium, to tens of thousands of new homes, to supermarkets, to entertainment sector. I drive past Palmyra on the beautiful 4-lane highway, lit up at night, looking at expansive land with infrastructure, technology, the off-food production. And passing all the brand new markets, upgraded markets. I then forgot, so I turned back. And there as I turned back, the new National Deep Water Port, the new gas development, the industrial hub, logistics hub. This is jobs, investment, opportunity, value. The new digital school. And oh yes, I passed the steaming noise of functional sugar estates, working sugar estates. I then passed Portland with the development hub. the hard surface road linking Oriala Siparuta with the Corentyne, the new Corentyne River Bridge, the new commercial hub around Lake River Bridge, the opening up of land, expanding production, productivity, and opportunity. Not forgetting the National Skills Training Center that will be training people from around the world. The National Hospitality Institute. Empowerment, development, a future that is bright and beautiful. An amazing story ahead of us. But you can lose all of this if you lose your political consciousness. You put all of this at risk if you fall prey to the spilliness. Every force against us is one of the same evil force, the AP and UAFC force. Make no mistake. They will lose individuals. Yes, different clothes. That is why our color is the color of the human blood, red. Regardless of how you look, regardless of where you're from, you have the same red blood. You have in you the color of the People's Progressive Party. And just as blood is important to life, the PPP is important to development and Diana. I have brushed slightly my allocated time. But I want to leave by giving you one message. We did not even commit this to you in elections. But last year, we said that we are going to make the crossing at the Wisma, Demerara, and Bobby's Bridge free of cost. We're going to remove the toll. I want to say to you today, as we celebrate the remarkable legacy of Dr. Jagan, that with effect from August the 1st, the crossing at Demerara, Bobby's, and Wisma is free of cost. Comrades, I'm going to save the chair of proceedings. I want you to loudly send a signal to every detractor, distractor, to every part of evil and evil force that try to destroy the PPP. Send the message of life. Long live the People's Progressive Party. Long live Guyana. Forward together. Stronger together. We are better together. Let there be no mistake. This People's Progressive Party is grounded in the people. And you cannot uproot the people, because we will defend the people with our roots of love, our roots of love, our roots of development, our roots firmly grounded in service to the people.